Flossie here with Spillin' the Tea Tuesday. As you guys know, I dropped a post asking what things you wanted me to discuss and got quite a few answers. I took some of the most common themes as well as a couple questions I thought are interesting, and that is what we're going to discuss today. So sit down, stay tuned, maybe get out a piece of pen and paper, take some notes, because today we are going to review some key things about manifestation. So number one, third parties. What are those? Those are people who are interfering with our manifestation to a certain extent, whether we are manifesting a specific person and it is their romantic interest that they might have at the time, or whether it is a meddling family member or a meddling friend, because third parties aren't necessarily someone that the SP is romantically involved with, but it's someone that we see as a nuisance or a barrier or a circumstance for us getting our manifestation. And circumstances don't matter, because when you have a desire, it comes from your God self, and that means creation is already finished, and you have to become the version of you that is in the reality where it exists. And you do that by affirming, persisting, which makes your subconscious imprint, and then that is when the shit manifests. So, doesn't matter who has to move, doesn't matter what has to change, circumstances literally don't matter, because your God self has infinite wisdom. Your God self is limitless, not limited, not finite. It is infinite, godly wisdom, limitless. And that means that anything that you ever want, it will achieve, because it is limitless. There is no limit to what your God self can do. So circumstances literally don't matter. Third parties don't matter. What you do to get rid of the third party is you affirm for what you want, because whatever has to move will move for you to get your manifestation. If you are affirming for the relationship with your SP, whether that is his side bitch, whether it is his best friend, whether it's his mother, they will either conform to liking your manifestation or they will leave. Affirming is like having a can of bitch be gone spray. Like, spray that bitch like she's a fucking wasp and watch her go away, but you spray her with your affirmation. So you affirm and you persist and you stay laser focused on what you want, and she or he must move. The third party must move. It's spiritual law. For those of you who cannot absolutely ignore a third party, you can affirm, but you affirm for them like a friend, and you affirm them away. So if it is someone who's romantically involved with your SP, you would affirm, I'm so happy that they love their new boyfriend or relationship, or some dude came and swept her off her feet, or guy came swept her off his feet, or you know what I'm saying, girl came and swept him off his feet, whatever, get tongue-tied, no problem. Or if it's a friend who's a issue, you would affirm, isn't it so wonderful that so-and-so has these wonderful new friends that he hangs out with all the time? Or you can also affirm, like, if you're affirming for your SP, like, he loves to spend all his time with me. I'm the only person he likes to talk to. I'm the only woman he can stand talking to. He only likes hanging out with me. I'm the only person he likes talking to. Guess what's going to happen? He's not going to want to talk to anybody else. He's not going to want to talk to any other women. Everybody's going to go away, period. So spray everybody with the bitch be gone spray by affirming and persisting, and third parties will go away, period. They go away because their circumstances do not matter. One of the other questions was ignoring the 3D and persisting. You have to remember what the 3D reality actually is. It's an old, dead reality. I like to look at it as a dead illusion. I know that other people do not. I know that the 3D reality seems very, very real. You can knock on it. You can feel things in it. But at the same time, it is based on your previous thoughts. It is completely moldable by you. You are the artist. And everybody in your reality is an actor playing the role that you gave them. They're reading the script that you gave them. And so everything is literally changeable. And so to ignore the 3D, when you know that the 3D is just an illusion, it makes it easier to ignore. And you just continue to persist. I'm going to tell you a very quick story. I had a family member who struggled with mental illness for a very long time. And after I got into manifestation, I was affirming that they were the happiest person in their life. They were happy, healthy, and whole. That they're the most joyous that they've ever been, that they were mentally healthy, etc. And then the bridge of incidents happened. And when the bridge of incidents happened, it was a crisis and a medical emergency. So as I was dealing with this person on the phone, I was affirming in my mind that they're happy, healthy, and whole, and that they're going to get the help they need. As I am also getting other people to assist this person, as I'm also finding out what resources were in this person's area so that they could get the medical attention that they needed, while I'm affirming and persisting that they're happy, healthy, and whole, that they willingly go get this assistance, that they cooperate with the assistance, that they do XYZ. And That is how you persist and ignore the 3D. You deal with whatever you need to deal with, but you keep your mind straight because you know that the 3D is changeable. It's changeable by you. It's changeable at any moment. It's changeable by you. I keep hitting the table, sorry, at a drop of a hat. And so when you affirm and persist, even if everything's going on around you, you get your fucking shit, period. And so just so you know, this family member did everything that I affirmed. They did everything I persisted in. And like a few days later, they were reporting that they were the happiest they've ever been. They are still the happiest they've ever been. I've completely changed their state. And that is because when the shit hit the fan, instead of accepting the 3D and being like, here we go again, here's how it's been for the last nearly decade of this person's life, I said, fuck that, because I know how the 3D works. And I affirmed and I persisted even through all the chaos. I could still do what needed to be done because sometimes people need medical attention. You can't like sit there and just firm and persist if someone's like having an emergency, like a true emergency. You can't just do that alone. So they got the medical attention they needed, and now they are the best that they've ever been in their entire life. And that is how you ignore the 3D and persist. You deal with what you have to deal with while you keep pushing forward. If you see shit in the 3D that's not in line with your manifestation, you can process whatever emotions that you have, but keep your mind mentally straight. If the only thing you can affirm is everything in my life is perfect, then affirm that. Because when you don't react, you're staying laser focused and you're going to be able to get your shit. You just have to know that the 3D reality is based on your old previous thoughts. I refer to the 3D reality as Chewbacca. It's Star Wars. And your new manifestations, 50 Shades of Grey. There's plenty of videos, even in this group, about that. So if you know you're dealing with Chewbacca, are you going to continue to argue with Chewbacca? Fuck no. Hell no. You're not going to continue to argue with Chewbacca. You already know that it's Chewbacca. You're wanting the dude from 50 Shades of Grey, which is your manifestation. So you're going to affirm and persist and keep acting like it's the dude from 50 Shades of Grey, because then the dude from 50 Shades of Grey is what's going to show up. If you keep interacting with Chewbacca and keep trying to argue with Chewbacca and keep trying to have a fist fight with Chewbacca, you're going to stay fighting with Chewbacca. And that's not what you want. So you have to make yourself be mentally focused. Manifesting, when you're doing it purposely and you're doing it for something that you have a lot of emotion around, you have to have control of your mind. Who's in control of your reality? Felicia, your ego? Are you going to let her run you? No, you're not. You're going to run yourself. You are going to run yourself. So the way to persist is to take control and be like, I'm a badass bitch and I run this fucking shit and I'm just going to take control, period. Period. And that is what you do. That's literally what you do. Someone was asking about stopping hot and cold behavior. So hot and cold behavior is like, can be from multiple different things. And one of them is from self-concept, because it is so important. Because self-concept is literally how people base that they're going to treat you, how you feel like you deserve to be treated, and what you believe that you can have, period. Because you can have self-love, which is completely different. Self-love is I love myself, okay? You can have love for yourself, but if you have an assumption that everyone treats me like shit or that men, treat me like trash, that is what's going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you. It doesn't matter if you love yourself. If you have assumptions that don't work for you for your self-concept, that is what you're going to see. In self-concept, while you don't need it to manifest, because you can certainly manifest without it, it's how hard do you want the process to be, and what do you do when you have that manifestation? Because at the end of the day, if you have self-concept that needs to go in the trash, or that people treat you like trash, that is what's going to be reflected back to you. So when you're experiencing hot and cold behavior, it literally can be due to your self-concept and due to the self-concept that you hold of how people treat you. So you might be having the SP come forward because you're affirming for him, but then you have the conflicting assumption that people treat you like crap, or that you're not the priority, or that you're not chosen. And so what keeps happening? They don't choose you. They're treating you like crap. Because that is your base assumption about yourself. That's your base assumption about how you think people in your reality are going to treat you. So that is one of the reasons for hot and cold behavior, is having a lower self-concept. One of the other reasons is that you have conflicting assumptions about the SP. So let's say you have assumptions that they're romantic, they're loving and affectionate, but they won't commit. They won't ever commit. They've never really been committal to you. So you might be able to get the love and affection, but then you're getting the cold behavior of they won't commit. And every time you start to get close, they push you away because you have an assumption that they're not going to commit to you. Those are two conflicting assumptions about the same person. So you're getting the warmth on the one hand, but then when it gets too close to a commitment, they're pushing you away on the other because you have the assumption that they're not going to commit to you. So look at what the hot, cold behavior actually is. Is it because you think that they're not going to commit, or whatever it is that they're doing that you consider cold? Or if it's not those things, if your self-concept is amazing and you don't have conflicting assumptions about your SP, or that you keep seeing them as this old version, partially this old version, and that's what's showing up and that's what the cold is, then is it you? Because everything is you, period. But is the other thing about you not sure if you want this manifestation? Because I'm telling you, if you flip-flop every other week, whether you want this person or not, you're going to see hot and cold behavior. Because if you spend a week bitching about them and how you don't think you want to be with them anymore, you're going to manifest off of that week's worth of bitching. So that can also bring about hot and cold behavior to you, is your own desire going back and forth of whether you want the manifestation. So I believe that there's another way. It's not coming to my mind right at this moment because it's like midnight, but self-concept, having conflicting assumptions about your SP, and you not being clear on what you want are 3 reasons why you can experience hot and cold behavior. And all those things, 2 of those things obviously need to go in the trash, and then you need to improve your self-concept, period. Working on your self-concept so that you can be up here and get what the fuck you want, period. The other thing is that people were wondering about why people choose a new SP. Well, some of that actually has to do with self-concept. It is not the thought. Many people choose new SPs not because they think that they can't get their old SP. It is that they get such a good self-concept that they decide, why do I want this one, who I'd have to do a lot of work on, who felt like I love, and I did love, but a lot of that was out of neediness. It was out of desperation, and they get a better self-concept, and they're thinking, I can have whatever man that I want or woman that I want. Why do I want this one? Sometimes it is from that. And sometimes it literally is when you have a history with somebody, you have to overcome that. And that can be very difficult to do, especially if it contained any type of third parties, abuse, many years of toil and trouble. Some people weren't even with their SPs for very long anyway. So they're like, I was with this dude for 6 months or this chick for 6 months. So I just feel like moving on. But if you have a relationship that was very difficult and there's a lot of emotional stuff and turmoil in there, some people just decide, you know what, at the end of the day, yes, I could recreate this person. Yes, I could continue this relationship, but I've just decided that I don't want to. I don't want to put the effort into this person. I can have them. I know I can have them. I'm just making the choice that I don't want to, because all these people are showing up exactly as perfect versions. And I don't have any baggage. I don't have any old story. I don't have any negative emotions. I don't have any things that I have to personally overcome, all the hurt or the abuse or the neglect or, the affairs. Some people don't want to deal with that stuff, and it's their reality, and they have the right to say, you know what? I know what this relationship was. I know I manifested it. I know I created it. I know I can change this person, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I've accepted my responsibility, but I don't want to forgive everything that was done to me, whether I manifested it or not. And some people decide not to do that. And there's no judgment about that. If you want to stick with your current SP because that's the love of your life and that's who you want to be with for whatever reason, and you don't care what behavior they did because you're overcoming it, you're changing their version, you're forgiving it, and you're fine with that, then that's amazing. Go ahead and do that because it's your reality. But don't judge other people because they say, you know what, I've been through enough with this person. I don't want to change it. Or this was a really short relationship and I realize my worth and I know I can have something better. And I don't want to recreate the busboy from Denny's into being the CEO that I want to be with or to have the lifestyle that I want. So some people change SPs for different reasons. I can't, you can't blame people if they have an SP that they're working on and there was a bunch of baggage, and then they've got hella sexy guys who are successful and are the complete package, already showing up exactly as they want, to maybe say, you know what, I'm going to go in a different direction. It's their reality. Let them do whatever they want. They're the god of their reality. You're the god of your reality. You make the choice for your reality, and they're going to make the choice for theirs. No worries there. Why the time delay is fastest with others. I think that that's probably the last one that I'm going to do. Time delay. Why it is faster for others. Well, the time delay depends on several different things. First of all, you have to remember when you're manifesting, it took you a minute to get into the boat that you're in. So let's say that you have a little small 8-ounce cup and it's clear and it has some oil in it. The oil represents all the negative thinking that you've done to get into the reality that you're in. The amount of oil that's in that cup depends on you. How many negative thoughts did you think to get into the boat that you're in? So it could have just a little bit of oil, or it could be like nearly chock full of oil, okay? And so when you affirm, you're adding water to that cup. Water is your nice, clean mental diet. It's your clean thoughts. It's your affirmations. And water is actually denser than the oil. So the water is going to sink to the bottom of the cup, and that oil is going to start to come out. Now, as you're affirming and persisting, the oil's coming out, the oil's coming out, the oil's coming out. But then you turn around and you're bitching about your SP. You're watching something on TV and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what my SP did to me. Look at that jerk over there. Or, you know, girlfriends call up and they're like complaining about their significant other. And you're like, oh yeah, my SP used to do that to me too, dude. Every single day, that's how he was, blah, blah, blah. Now you're adding more oil. So oil's going in, oil's going in, oil's going in. And you're playing this dance, right? You see something, reminds you of your SP, you have negative thoughts, more oil. You see something in the 3D and you react mentally, more oil. And so now you're doing, like I said, this little dance. You're pouring water in, you're pouring oil in. Water, oil, water, oil. Do you see what I'm saying here? So the more resistance that you have, or more emotional attachments to all these things, the more that you're reacting, the more negative thoughts that you have, you're creating a longer delay for yourself. That's one way to cause your delay, because in my opinion, when that cup gets to be like maybe 80% water and has just a little bit of oil left in it to none at all, that is when your subconscious is going to imprint. And that's when you're going to start seeing evidence in the 3D of your manifestation being mirrored back to you, reflected back to you. So besides your subconscious imprinting, then you have to, something or someone likely has to move. So as you're imprinting your subconscious and you're affirming for an SP, they're going to start thinking about you. They're going to think more about you. Then they're going to think even more about you. And it's kind of like, I'm interested in her. Oh yeah, I need to give her a call. I'm having all these feelings. And then they're going to be forced to move. Or if there's other scenarios like a third party, or they live far away, things have to move for you to get your manifestation. That can also cause a time delay. So it's kind of like, you have to get your subconscious imprinted by having enough water in that cup versus oil. And then once you're starting to really imprint, then they're going to get the signal. They're going to be starting to think about you more and more, things like that. Like you don't have to be fully imprinted for them to start getting the signal, but it's kind of like you're affirming, it's affecting them, it is affecting them. But then like you're not going to really start seeing your manifestation until it gets imprinted in your subconscious. And it can't get imprinted into your subconscious if your dominant thought about your manifestation is negative. If you've got a cup full of oil, your dominant thought is the damn oil. It's the bullshit that got you into the reality that you're in. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to affirm and persist, stay laser focused, keep going so that you can get your manifestation, get your subconscious imprinted so it can be mirrored back to you. And then be patient while whatever has to move will move, because things may have to move. And so you can't look to the dead reality 3D for confirmation, because it's old fake news. It's Chewbacca playing the story playing out. It's Star Wars playing out. You have to give shit a minute to get on in. So some people have less of a time delay because they start with almost no oil in that cup. Some people have more because they have hella oil. Some people have less time, even if they have more oil, because they affirm, they affirm, they affirm, they persist. They ignore all the bullshit going on around here. They stay laser focused and their shit gets in quicker. It's a very individualized dance. And the time of your dance depends on you. How much time is left on Star Wars depends on you. All on you. On you. Period. So I think that was pretty much it. The only other thing was there was a question about an inspired action, like when starting a business and how to know what things are needed to initiate and what would come to us. Inspired action is you're going to feel the motivation to take action, and it's not going to necessarily be out of desperation. Either you're going to feel motivated to go somewhere and you're going to run into somebody, or like for me, to become a coach for Sammy, I had studied coaching in the past, never really thought of becoming, hadn't thought for a long time of becoming a coach. And when she asked for mods, something told me to ask to be a mod, to jump in on that. And I was one of her first mods, but I'd only been a mod for one other group, and all I did was help to approve memberships. But I felt that push to go ahead and step out of my comfort zone and say I would be interested in being a mod. Not something I'd normally do, not really something I typically do at all. And so I put myself out there, and I was one of the people that she chose. And then I kept having inspired action to help do different things in the group. And then when it came to have coaches, I was one of the people that she talked to about that. And so I kept taking inspired action to do different things. And when you are starting a business, you might have inspired action to call somebody, or you might hear of an opportunity and it might spark something in you where you have this urge to find out more information. Or it could be that you just have the urge to go to the store randomly, and you go and you run into somebody, and it will seem completely natural to you. It's not going to seem like, is this inspired action? It's going to be like, oh, I'm interested in this, and you're going to do it. And it may or may not be something that you would normally do. It could be something completely random. And then you're going to find out this is where part of the opportunity came from, because manifestation is always perfect and it always folds in the most beautiful way possible. And so if you're affirming you're doing your affirmations, you're affirming for your manifestation, and you are wanting to have opportunities, you're wanting to have business, you're saying business is booming, you will find different things will come to you from different places, and you might be inspired to go somewhere or to respond to a certain thing. And then that's going to start your path down to where you want to go. But that is, to me, what inspired action is. Somebody else might have a different view. But anyway, that's what I think about it. So this video is like basically 22 minutes long, full of content, talking about a bunch of different shit. I hope that you had a fun time listening to me ramble for about 22 minutes about manifestation. I hope that you guys have a great time. Tell me that you love it. And you know that next Tuesday, what am I going to be doing? Spilling some more tea, because that is what I do. Have a great day, and I'll check in with you later.